This podcast has been brought to you by our Patreon account. After almost 4 years of producing free content in one way or another, we're finally opening up the doors for people to financially support us. For anyone out there that supports what we're doing, believes in us, believes in what we're trying to achieve, feel free to head over to patreon.com/XY Advisor. And second of all, we've finally converted our mainly dormant website into a membership site now. It is focused on training. You pay $49 a month. You get one credit to spend on the library of different training courses, and those training courses are constantly getting upgraded and constantly getting added to. We actually give half the money to the course providers because we value what they do. It's just a really good way for us to improve upon the financial advice community. So that's everything. Enjoy the podcast.
This session is also brought to you by Sunsuper. They're one of the fastest growing profit for members or industry funds in Australia. They were the very first of these funds to partner with advisors, and they've got functionality where you can actually link to your client's Sunsuper accounts and charge advice fees through the fund, as well as a number of tech innovations to make it easier for you to work with your clients. They've got great investments. They're really, really cheap. And their team are just generally legends. So if you haven't already connected with Sunsuper, give them a shout because they're doing some really cool stuff.
There we go.
What's happening, mate? Thanks for joining us here today.
No, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so you suit and tie, right? First and foremost, looking sharp, looking good.
Well, I saw what Roxy wore, and I had to.
Yeah.
This is the office get up every day.
Well, because he breeds a very strong culture, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've met him now, you know that.
Yes.
It's a very strong culture.
Yeah.
Which is good. I love it.
Yeah. Has it worked out well for you?
Mate, it has. It honestly has. I came from the other In Focus office I was at, which was a great office. It was a little family office. And I was a bit nervous because it was really easy there. So we had a book of like 9,000 dormant clients that I could just go and pick. And an Announcer is a very organic grown business. And at the other one, I was the young, energetic, high performer, and the Announcer office is that's all they are. That's so it was a big decision, hey, because it was sort of going from comfort to this was either going to be my make it or break it step, because there was no excuses. You know, everyone was doing well, so I had to go and do well. And I was no longer the best in the office, or I had to step up. And
what made you jump ship?
That thought, I thought for my clients, like I'll tell you what it actually was. There's two things. I went for a sort of walk around in the business when they joined In Focus, and the two things I struggled with in my business. Will not struggle. So they have a core culture here. We have a core culture. Practice what you preach. And I love that. I used to hate going to events, right, and meeting with other advisors, and you start talking about, what are you doing with your portfolio? Oh, no, I don't invest. Like there's a lot like that, and I was like, I hate that. Like, surely do you have insurance? No. Like, what? Like, it was crazy, right? And that was one of the things, was practice what you preach. So when you join Announcer, everyone has to do a financial plan with a different advisor, which was a really good experience. But the second one, which got me over the line, is I always say I would do this for free if I could. That's my biggest downfall. Right? That is the biggest downfall to me as an advisor, because I don't dollar value my service. Like I would do it for free. If I won the lotto tomorrow, I'd walk out and still do it and do it maybe at cost or whatever. I'd do it cheap. And what I loved when I walked through Announcer is they said, one of our core values is being successful. And I thought, okay, that's cool. So, you want to help your clients get successful. That's what I thought. And they said, yeah, our job is to make sure our clients are successful, and we want successful people. But
we practice what we preach.
That's right. We also make sure that we're not afraid of being successful either. We are doing amazing things for our clients, and we're making them successful. In an instance, we should be remunerated and I guess be successful as well. And I thought, okay, this is where I need to be, because
that's awesome.
Because I wasn't charging, I was doing like full comprehensive plans for like $1,500,
mate.
And I didn't know anything different. I was struggling to charge that. And then I don't know. I know Adrian was there. You might have been there too, Ray. Roxy gave a value seminar at the top of AMP. Were you there?
No, I wasn't.
Adrian was definitely there, and so was Jamesy Millard. But they he gave that, and that was like the day in the papers he joined In Focus, and I went, wow. And he gave this about how to measure your value, and I thought, this is.
Well, how long have you been there for now?
Just this is my 6th month.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. And how long were you at the other place?
Just under 2 years.
And what were you doing before that?
So just insurance.
Just insurance,
Yeah.
okay. And then when did you get out of the army?
Yeah, so 2014, I left. I was going to put that down as my story. That's my sort of my interesting piece. But I left. I was going to be in the army forever. I loved it. Like, I loved it.
What did you love about it?
Just everything. It was just, I don't know. I just frothed on it. It was
Yeah.
awesome. Like, I'm a true West Sydney bogan, and it was just that it allowed for that. It was great. Physical.
What a sentence.
Yeah, I still am. Just got to sit. I'm done for you. But my clients love it. They love it. But so I joined and I just loved it. My family did. It's sort of a couple of family members. My dad and I joined together, so it was a bit of history there.
That's cool.
Wow.
Yeah, that was awesome. And then
Your dad must be fit.
oh, he's fit as, man. He trains at Bond Street, and every lunchtime, our office, we get 2 hours a day to go train, and they come down. And he's massive, and they just give it to me. Look how much bigger your dad is than you. He gives it to me enough. I don't need the office doing it too. So. But no, they do. But we joined together, and it was good. You get fitness. I trained 2, 3, 4 times a day, no dramas, and it was just a good life. But I got injured, and not badly. Like, I just had a shoulder reco.
Right.
And in the military, when you get injured, you sort of get tarnished a bit. Like, you no matter how good soldier you were, you go into like a bubble with all the injured people, because there's a lot of people in the military who we call malingerers or lingers. And they just join the army, get injured, and then you can get paid for the rest of your life being injured.
Yeah.
So they just ride it. And
So that's just injured training?
injured doing whatever.
All right.
So you can rock up, you might get shin splints, and people just ride it forever. It's like an income protection policy forever. You go to work doing nothing every day and you get paid, and that's the bad part. So to stop people from doing that, they have a really negative culture aligned with that,
Right.
and you just get smashed. And I was probably 2-3 weeks into my rehab, and I just got smashed, and I said, I can't do this. So I said, right, I'm going to rehab for 2 years. I'm going to get out, do something else, come back. That was my plan. And we were on a boat, so I was in an amphibious element up in Townsville, 2RAR. So like they are now, but trying to become like a sort of like the Marines.
Right.
I guess,
Yeah.
ships.
Is that similar to the 4? Commandos?
No. So commandos are special forces.
Yeah.
2RAR is just amphibious, so we operate on ships, and
Okay.
That's a pretty cool gig. I really liked it towards the end there. But
What kind of weapons?
just normal. So you just have
style.
your
Just
style,
normal.
yeah, just
normal.
style. Yeah, we all got quoted on the M4s and stuff because obviously the waterproofing and that stuff. But we still just use the styres.
Yeah, right.
We got some cool ones towards you. A couple of the HKs come out and stuff, which was all right. But I was on the ship, and there was a clearance diver from Manly there, and he runs a set of gyms. I'll give him a shout out at Manly Core 9 Fitness, and he grabbed me and said, mate, I was a what we call combat fitness leader, so I ran PT sessions, and that was my passion at the time. Thought I was going to be a PT and stuff like that. And he goes, I want you to come open some gyms. I thought, perfect, let's do it. And he said, well, you need X amount of money, right? And I thought, okay, well, I've got none, so I've got to find a gig that pays good money. And I got pulled into a friend of mine who she was doing insurance sales. And I thought, yeah, sweet. And she said she was making, $5,000 a week and stuff. She wasn't, but she said she was full of, didn't count tax or nothing, no super, nothing. So just commissions only. And I thought, yeah, I can do this. And I did. I cleaned up, I did in 3 months, I made $120,000, and I was just bombing it, right? And I had no idea what I was doing. And I just sold this insurance and I had enough money to open this gym. And they go,
No way.
yeah. And they go, and I said, I got this money to open the gym. And they said, all right, when you open the gym, you'll be on $40,000 a year. I was like, hell no. You're making $40,000 a month. There's no way. Idiot, right? And so I turned it down, and we had sort of a falling out over it. Mates with him still now, but didn't do it. And then rolling forward, I sort of thought this is going to be me for the rest of my life. Didn't happen, right? Obviously, I started, you're selling insurance. I'm going, the ethics started kicking in. There was no more goal, right? I was just selling insurance. I'm going, what am I doing? I'm sitting with someone, and do they really need this policy? And then I just started studying a bit and doing some, case studies around finance. I started really enjoying the finance side, looking at people's budgets and cash flow, working on my own. And then that business sort of grew, and I still didn't really I made some money some months, no money other months, and it was a bit of a ride. Then we started. One of the couple of executives went into opening a financial planning firm, but risk only at the start, but with the plan to. And I thought, yeah, cool, I can do this. And we got my diploma and went through that, and it was pretty enjoyable, but it never went that way. It still just stayed selling risk. And I was like, I hate this. I can't do it. So then I applied for a couple of jobs down in Sydney, and I got the call up from the firm I was at before here.
Where was that?
in Borkham Hills at Pattinson Financial.
Yep.
And having the backtrack of the course I was on, the company I was with, having a look at that, it wasn't a great company. And they were going through, ASIC had picked them up for some of the stuff. So none of my advice, 'cause I didn't give any advice.
Yep.
And I'd always made file notes saying sort of stuff like that. But it sort of went a bit pear-shaped, for them, which good that it should have happened because they weren't doing the best interest. So the boss said, look, I need you to start looking at a niche. And it was really good. He got me thinking some stuff. And I did a study on soldiers. So I did this. It was just like my study. And I did about a week's worth. So I did 50 people roughly for an hour. And I just interviewed them on... at that time, so it was 2015, we had like an epidemic of suicides in defence, and I'd lost by that stage about 10 mates, and
Jesus. Mate, are you serious?
Yeah, about 25, 26, and I'd lost about 4 to 5 really, really good mates, and then about...
From suicide?
From suicide,
Jesus.
and then like another...
Current soldiers or retired,
both,
veterans?
A bit of both, so that had been in and out, and then I had another 4 or 5 that I knew they were considered, if I saw them at the pub, we'd have a beer, but not like everyday mates. So that's pretty full on. And so I did a research paper. I don't want to bring the mood down. I did a research paper and tried to. My thing was, of all the people that I knew that were suffering from depression or whatever, I wanted to figure out how much of that was related to financial stress. And long story short, about half, so roughly 50% of the people I interviewed that had experienced it said it started from financial stress. So that be no job, not having any money, gambling, drug addiction, alcohol, anything that caused not having money, right? Those things. So about 50%. And of the other half, the majority of those guys said at some stage through their PTSD or depression, those same money troubles spiraled them deeper. And I thought, holy shit, this is huge. I can do something here. And so that's when my sort of career kicked off. And I put that research paper together for him, and he loved it. And then I started down there and started working with military people a bit closer, which not great for advice, military people. There's kind of some barriers there. But what I found was it wasn't just military people. It was miners. It was sports stars. It was just everyone. It was a very similar story for a lot of people. And I thought, wow, this is my avenue. And now I've kicked off my master's degree, and that's where all my theses and stuff are going to go, is towards behavioural finance, but in the way of, how does your psychological traits match your financial and vice versa, and trying to figure that out. So that's my career path. That's my future.
Wow.
And it started out like that. And yeah, it's a really cool little topic. I think that's where sort of all my advice and my research goes, and that's how I got there. And that's where I am now. I'm an announcer. They sort of do a lot of psychological profiling, which you might have seen in the office. They have a lot of stuff there.
Yeah.
So that's cool. That's something we're trying to work closer towards.
Yeah, I walked around the office last night.
All the colour charts.
My goodness. I just couldn't fathom the amount of thought that's gone into just simply even the office environment.
The pods.
What
are the pods?
So... Do you
well, no. You work there.
What did you say?
Okay, so
Clayton wants to work there,
mate. I said, because I haven't worked for anyone since my 20s.
I need your relationship manager. You want to?
But I walked around. I was like, can I have a job? I'd love a job here, because each computer had sort of your own personality. Yeah. A few things sort of on it, like a little sign sort of above the screen, and
yeah. So that's our HPDI profile. So that's, right. And this is another thing that got me is we're going to try and start matching these things with our clients to make sure that when they make a decision, when they want to leave us, why, and then find out why. Is it the person? Is it your psychological trait? So HPDI, I always forget what it stands for. They're going to grill me for this, but Herman's Brain's Dominance Institute, I think. So it's like,
no idea.
So it's a guy that, you got your DISC profiles and all that stuff, and they all sort of segment you into a box. The HPDI doesn't. It sort of tells you how much of each part of your brain you use and when.
Yep.
So under stress, not under stress. It's really cool. It's sort of, because instead of saying, you're this type of person, it's like, well,
it's
you're
too
a bit
binary,
of this,
mate.
Yeah. That's right. And so everyone who joins the company does it.
Oh,
and
wow.
their partners, if they agree, which I did, and helped you really learns about your relationship. Good/bad.
Are you married or just
engaged?
Engaged.
So we set a wedding date, 25th of May next year.
Congrats.
We look forward to the invite. We'll see it on the Facebook group.
I think it's in the mail still. But we did that, and everyone who joins us. But you also do it on your exit as well.
Right.
So we do exit interviews as well to make sure that, what do we miss or...
Yeah, cool.
Exit interviews with your clients?
No, we do exit interviews, but I'm talking with staff specifically. So
Right.
it helps them with their next job sort of as well, which is pretty cool. But all the pods are sort of matched up. We change often to try and see how it works, but if someone's not getting along in a pod, we check their psychological profiling and we match them into a pod that works.
Wow.
Now, it doesn't always work, but it gives us data and moving forward.
Helpful guide, if
that's
nothing
right.
else, right? Yeah.
So we want to figure out, the only problem is it's like an hour. You got to sit down for an hour to do the thing, so
Yeah.
it's hard to add that into a client thing. But we give the option there for any clients that want to do it, they can.
And is that a service that you charge for? So it's part of your
We just charge them
package?
whatever cost is. No, so that's what I'm saying is we want to bring it in, but it's adding an extra hour of FaceTime and questioning. So we're trying to find, we're working with them to try and minimise it, because if we can do it, even a short version and do that, it's great. But what is great is everyone who goes through it, we do a lot of learning on it, so we can generally tell with the client how they fit. Not exactly, but I can say, you're a green and a red or whatever, and then that helps us in our documents. So all our documents are laid out in a way to hit every person in whatever they were. So the real process people, everything's laid out, time, boom, boom.
So the SOAs are different depending upon who you...
No, so they're all the same, right? So our service agreement, our fact find, our everything. So the service agreement is the big one. I don't know, did Roxy show you that last night?
No.
Oh, it's amazing. It's the best thing I've ever seen. And when it goes digital, it'll be amazing. So it's very, it's for every, because we're not going to have a different one for each person, but it covers off on every person, right? So if somebody's a process-driven, analytical, the whole service agreement is lined out, line items. How much time, how much does that cost? What do we do? What's every step of the way through it? And then you might have someone who is like an organised person, right? So they're not analytical, but they're very organised. We've got, stage one is, protect it, insurance, or whatever. That's in one place. Grow it.
So your proposal document is delivered in the form of communication that they like.
100%. Now, the best bit about it
Wow.
is then we ask them at the start of the document, how do you like to be communicated with? Yeah, so that's the...
Was that Roxy in because
Yes.
He said it in the...
I've echoed.
He did say it
I've
in the
got deja
podcast.
vu right now. Yeah.
So we ask them, and you guys covered off on that ages. I think you said it was genius.
Yes.
But it is the thing there on the is just asking them, and that's, I think it's something advisors miss. They just don't ask their clients for referrals.
It's okay to
for
ask, right?
business,
It's like, how should I help you?
That's right. Anything. People just forget to ask. And
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, because you hear, when you first join the industry, people say the quality of your advice will come from the quality of your questions. And you hear that, but...
You got to learn. The hard part's learning the questions.
Yeah, exactly. And then when you hear such a great question, you think, "Oh my,
so
how did
easy."
I not think of this? Why did I not just simply ask?"
Well, how often do you see it with referrals? Like someone who's not getting referrals, will have you ask? Yeah, I ask. And they sit with their client, and you go, "Do you have anyone you can think that I might be able to help?" "Oh yeah, of course I do." Wow, like that happens all the time. But this document just lays it out, and then the red side of things, which is like your people skills and emotive, is the person. That's up to the advisor. So that you can't do that in a book. We've got creativity in the book, so it's all colourful. But someone who's a relationships and emotional, which is what we call red, that's up to the advisor.
That's kind of you,
that person, yeah. So if that's who the person is, they probably won't read it much, but they'll engage with you a lot. So
there you go. Instead of delivering advice to what's comfortable for the advice deliverer, it's what's comfortable to the person receiving it.
It's a percentage game, really,
Oh man,
We're all about high percentage plays.
Yeah,
all about high percentage plays. You wouldn't tell I go for para because they.
Mate, I'm with you. I was at the 2007 grand final where we got ripped off
by the cheaters.
And it was Highmarsh's and Kalis's last opportunity to win, and they should have won because we'd lost at the grand final, but then Melbourne got it taken away from them because they paid too much money to their players, and then we got nothing. No one got anything.
We get absolutely smacked.
Wow.
We get absolutely smacked.
The craziest thing about this happened over a decade ago, and you guys are still salty.
I'm not salty.
I am.
I'm not salty for a very
salty.
key reason. The Blues won
100%. You should have seen
on Wednesday.
I've been rubbing that into the office hard.
I'm so happy because I'm real. I don't really follow the NRL, but I love the Blues.
It's just a different beast, isn't it?
And I know what it's like now to have the refs on your side. I could have. No. I'll call it where it's due. We've had 11 years of a ref against us. this is. I was like, oh, this is what it feels like to be on the nice end of the referee calls, because I'm watching these plays and I'm like, well, how did we get that ball? And I'm like,
threw the ball behind the line.
Normally,
caught it after the line.
No, well, I mean, obviously, like, the momentum, as long as you pass it back and you're running forward, the ball will go forward. So that try, I don't have a problem with. But just in general, you know, like when he stripped the ball out of him, when he was just standing there, he just reaches around and go, whoop. And then ref's like, you dropped it. And I was like, this is what it feels like. This is what it feels
I'm
like.
Pretend
I feel like a Queenslander.
And we won completely on our own bat.
Yeah.
Mate, for having it 11 years against us, it was good to have it on our side for once. I wanted to ask you about the post-traumatic stress disorder. Weird thing. It changes its name every generation. Shell shock, then it went to battle fatigue, and we keep sterilizing it, and to the point now it's post-traumatic.
PT.
Yes. Yeah, and then we put it down to that. Like shell shock, you know, it sounds...
Well, it sounds physical, not mental, right? It's like something blowing up next to you and you're just like, you can't... like.
But you get what it means.
Yeah.
PS, you know, like you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but I think it gets very generalised to defence, the PTSD, but I think one of the reasons they sort of pulled that out is to make it more generalised to everything. So you can get PTSD from any traumatic event. It doesn't have to be military related, but I think the military sort of has grabbed it and run with it, and we missed that piece. But it is a serious thing. It's I think what it has done is it's opened up more generalised conditions to fall within that. Because we have a lot of defence members that didn't serve. So myself, I didn't do a deployment, or no active deployment, and they still get depressed. And a traumatic event, for example, is discharging from the military. It's hard going into civilian life, and we got a lot of people that didn't deploy, and they have PTSD from that, or from...
Also, you've done all this training for something you never got to execute on.
Imagine having to do like all the education for financial advice.
You do a degree or whatever, and like you kind of immerse yourself in a world for 4 or 5 years, and you're like, see ya.
Yeah,
it's huge, man. It's massive, and that's I didn't get depressed or anything. I had a good transition, even though it was what I explained before. But
is that some of the things that you talk to your clients about what it's like post military?
Yeah, definitely. So. I sort of did Mia Taylor actually put me in touch with Triple J or something. She was an interviewer for, it might have been News Corp or something, and she was doing something on this. And I don't know if it'll ever get published because I kind of twisted it a bit in the way that there is a lot of victim mentality out there that I think, like it might, and this could, I don't know how this would go down, but I'm the biggest defence advocate, and I'll help. And that, this is why I do what I do. But you've also got to call it where, call a fish as a fish. You know what I mean? Like you get someone who gets out and they just expect everything handed to them, and there's so much help out there, and it is difficult. DVA is a nightmare to deal with, and I deal with them myself. But there's a line. You know what I mean? So it's sort of got to make sure that when I speak with clients, I do say that. I said, look, it's not easy, but it's no harder than anyone else out there. Like. Unless you are someone who's got PTSD from deployment and those kind of things, then you deserve all the help you can get, but you still have to go through the processes. Like, you think about cops and ambos and stuff who have similar traumas on a more often basis. They don't have the support. They get the on-the-job support, but when they leave the cops, it's definitely not a support.
Is that something you've productized, or is it purely just what
just
people?
Value add.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, a lot of defence people don't make great clients. They're not. It's something I've had to steer away from because financially I wouldn't be able to put food on my table too often for the family.
Why is that?
They don't. There is a lot of successful ex-defence, a lot, right? But they're not the ones that come through that stream. So my father works for RSL Defence Care, which helps with DVA claims and stuff. And previously I did like a pro bono. Anyone who gets a payout from DVA, I'll help them use that money for pro bono, right? But at announcer, it's sort of a bit blurred. So, but I get a lot of referrals from their sort of third party coming through. They get money or they need to know what to do, and they do come in, and I sit down. If I can guide them in the right direction with that, that's fine. But if they need advice, then
you're kind of a cool conduit into the two worlds, right? It's like, I'm like you, in a different world, right?
That's right. And that's a lot of my education on my LinkedIn and stuff. I do target that toward defence because I want them to know, there's people out there, and a lot of the people out, I'm probably a bit more outspoken, but a lot of the successful ex-military, they don't talk about it, you know what I mean? You hear a lot, the reason that there's a lot of negativity around the ex-defence is because they're the ones you hear from, which is good because it brings light to the situation, but it's also bad because it kind of, and I've always said we're going to these people who are having a hard time transitioning, asking them what they need to transition. Why don't we go to the people who've done it well and find out what they did? Yeah. It's like you don't go to a homeless person and say, what's the best way to buy a house? Like that's the reality of it. Yeah. So that's how I think it should transition. But
that's a good point.
That's how it sort of goes. And and that's why I think it's a big political play, because you're looking like if you're going to the people who are struggling, you're getting their vote and you're giving them help directly. But I don't think it's the play we should be making. But there's a big push for all that anyway. But no, I like to think that I'm sort of a bit of a help out there, that I do get a lot of military people coming to me, and they're probably not in our perfect client world. But, even as something as simple as a budget that I can just do on the spot and say, hey, go implement that and come back in 12 months, see how you're going. Like, that's a good value add, or my education series on Facebook and stuff and LinkedIn, that's a good value add for them.
What does that kind of look like? I'm kind of keen to, because, technology is kind of an easy way to help serve a lot of people that don't fit the business, but you want to help them, right?
That's right.
So how do you kind of do that?
Not very well at the moment, I think. I do very ad hoc videos and
I know.
You notice. I get smashed all the time, but I don't care.
Snapchat doesn't count.
No.
No, mate, I like what you do.
I like what I do too, and I often get told, from other professionals that it's not. I wouldn't watch it. I'm not targeting you, so that's fine.
What do you do?
I do mix. So I do in my office. I'll do a whiteboard stuff and do a financial one, but I do a lot of on the walk, laying on the couch, in the car. In the car, get smashed for driving.
Yeah, he does one in the car. All the comments are like, "That is irresponsible driving."
There's 2 comments. Don't say all the comments. There's 2 of them.
How many comments were there?
Yeah. At least 20. 10 were me.
I'm telling you, this is totally fine.
I just delete the comment.
That's
bad.
That's the good thing. That's the good thing on LinkedIn, because if you write the post and then someone calls you out, you can answer them back, and if they come back again, you can just be like, "You're gone."
I was like, you made it when you get haters, but there's 2 haters.
I need more haters.
Yeah, that's right.
Shut up, Mum.
Mum, can you go on and hate on me? Can you please hate on me? Or other things you do, like talking about going for a surf or whatever.
Yeah.
All that stuff. Do you find the authentic thing on LinkedIn works?
Yeah, so when I started Announcer, they're big on that marketing strategy, and it was very, very non-financial. Just be you. Bring your brand to the page, and that's who you market for.
Yeah.
But I like the educate. That's why I want to do that. Yeah. So I mix and match, and I'm sort of the test dummy for Announcer, because no one's had to cover compliance before, because there's no financial literacy going out there. Yeah. And now I'm bringing that. I've got to work with compliance to make sure what's okay. So it's good, but I find the authenticity works amazing. All my stuff, all my stuff gets targeted towards military. So my 3 core values are military, health and wellness, and sports. So targeting ex or current defence, PTs and nutrition.
And being an announcer, do you have to find your own potential clients, or is that something? So
it's very organically grown. One of the biggest things I always say is, if I knew this stuff at my old firm, I'd be unbelievable. But because there is no real client base, I do take over some existing clients from advisors that left or whatever, but very small number. But it is very organically grown, which is good. That's what I used to do with the commission-only role, I guess. But now knowing and doing the right thing, and referrals are in abundance. Our partnerships, the value add to clients here is huge. And I used to be a very transactional role. I thought it was ongoing serve, but it was still very transactional. The way we do it, and the way that I've been taught how to do it, is just completely different. It's referrals.
And who teaches you?
Ray. So have you met Ray? Yeah. Ray Albrighton is probably, I'll go on a limb and say he's probably one of the, if not the best financial advisor in Australia I've ever met. I think there's a big difference between technical advisors and people, and he's got a great mix of both, but by far the best person I've ever seen to understand what a person wants and how to add value. Yeah. And that's what I've learned. I'll never be good at the technical stuff. Like I said, I'm a West Sydney bogan. My brain isn't huge.
Do you like the UFC?
Love it.
Yeah, I love it.
I put UFC post up on LinkedIn and people are like, ooh, that's not the right. I'm like, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So I got a few. So Ty,
Such a fan.
you know Ty Tuivasa?
Yes.
And Tyson Pedro. So we used to train at the same gym.
No
Yeah.
way. They're coming up this weekend. This
So Rob
weekend they're
Whittaker's
fighting.
fight,
Yeah.
So big fan. So we used to train at the same gym and like we're not
Wow.
best mates, but know them. So
That's mad.
So I love watching them. But
They're pretty funny.
Yeah, that's right. They're hilarious. You should see them train. The beast. But
Yeah.
But no, I like all that stuff, right? So, with Ray, what he sort of taught a bit about was, you know, like I said, I'll never be good at the technical stuff, right? I know enough, but I always even say, I'm fully open with my clients. Say, look, I'm not here to, you might ask me a question and I'll know where to find it, but I might not know what the answer is. Let's be straight up, because I'm not going to be that guy that can just punch legislation out back at you, but I'll know where to go and I know what you need to find.
Yeah, cool.
But so that's not my role. I'm not that guy. I'm not an accountant. That's not me. I'm the people person. I'm good, and what I'm learning better to do is draw from a person what they need and how I can add that value, which is, I think, far above and beyond any technical.
Totally,
aspect.
man.
And that's what AI's. I was listening to you talk before, and AI is going to cover the technical piece, right?
Yeah.
It's the people bit you need, and
Have you taken on Roxy's ability to talk and control the heartbeat of the person in front of you?
No.
It's quite comforting when he begins to talk like this, and then he'll come up
That's
like
right.
that. And right. So
That's not
Ray
what I
doesn't
said.
go through that level.
No, Ray is the question man.
The boys are just like laughing at me.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
He's gonna grill it for you. You might have to cut that one out. But, no, Roxy's probably the most creative and emotive person I've ever met.
The energy.
Like I thought I was full energy, right?
The Rick.
Mate, we went to a client's PT seminar the other day, and the other week, and we rocked up, and I took my old boy and a couple of clients with me, and they're like my whole family's full energy on my dad's side. Like we're loud and we go, and I was like, yeah, I'm full energy. He's just another level. Like he was at the front by himself, and it was a really good seminar, but I think it was a long weekend, and like everyone was just kind of like, right, yeah, we've got to get out. Like it was feeling a bit mundane on there, and he just lit it up, eh? Like he had the room in stitches the whole time, and I was like, it's a nutrition seminar. What are you doing? And yeah, just his charisma.
No one cares about apples this much, man.
But his energy is just ridiculous. Where Ray's got good energy, and he's so good at questions. Like he has like a game where someone coming to the lift comes into the reception, and everyone does it where we try and see who can find out the most about that client in a short period of time, and he always wins. Like he'll find out everything in like 2 minutes, and it's just
man. He when I met him, he ran through me, and he's just got those eyes, right? You're like, he knows everything about me already.
Yeah, no. So, but mate, I've learned a lot there. It was a really good decision. It's a really good place to work, and just the culture is amazing. Like, it's phenomenal. You can't sit here and say it's a perfect place because everywhere's got their ups and downs. Right?
Sure.
That's the way it is. That's the corporate life and high stress. But I couldn't imagine working for another company again after that. The only thing would maybe be, my own business somewhere down the track. But if I was going to stay anywhere, it would announce it's just the culture's phenomenal.
So what's kind of the 5-year plan? I mean, 6 months in, you kind of get a sense of what the go is. What kind of?
So this was like a 2-year plan
Okay.
initially.
Ambitious.
Yeah, that's right. Just opt-ins. Just cover my opt-ins.
And out.
No, but I don't know, mate. Like the more I stay here, the more I think there's partner roles and positions there that could go. I do have this squeaky passion one day to open my own firm because there's just some edgy things I want to do that.
Cool.
No one else
will say yes.
That's right, 100%. Like it would never happen. I've even looked into if I could do it on the side. Like I've said, and it's not a secret. I've said many times where I think ASIC is always going to want advice to move towards transactional roles where people pay for something, cut it. The relationships are always going to be hard. Now, I don't agree with that. I think the relationships are the best part of it. But I think every business model should at some stage have a consultancy role built into their package where people can come and pay for advice as they go. So, an hourly rate and pay for, I no advice. It's just, I want to come in, I want to talk to you about this, give me the pros and cons, let me make my decision and move on, right? And I've always wanted to run a model like that. And I couldn't do it. Announcers, that's not our brand, but there's something about that I've always loved. And somewhere down the track, that might be a goal, but I think that's pretty much the only real edgy thing that I'd want to do differently, maybe a different target market. But
which I guess kind of is you talking to maybe guys that are in the military or coming out and talking to them maybe as a group.
Yeah, that's right.
And that sort of stuff.
Well, that's where it come from, right? Because I actually, there's two things the way the military is going to solve their blunder with help giving soldiers financial help, and that's tech. And I've worked with a few fintech providers that are in talks, that looks good, like a little tech strategy where you can put in go through and enter like a fact find stuff and it spits out a general SOA, right? And that's all right, but they're still missing something there. I think what they need to do is open up a financial consultant or coach role within the military, like you enlist, because they've got lawyers and accountants, CFOs,
religious people as well.
That's right. So
how can you not have someone that's like? I mean,
imagine how good of an advice role it'd be. No product.
Yeah, totally.
No product. You wouldn't be allowed to do product.
Well, but that's the thing, right? It's kind of
Toby.
What?
Yeah, so that's where I could do the consult. That's where I thought maybe I can consult to them on how to set it up and stuff like that.
Or be the dude.
Be the dude. That's right.
Yeah.
So that's. But my 5-year plan, my honest 5-year plan is I want to be one of the best financial advisors in Australia in 5 years. I want people to.
How do you get there?
Well, I think I'm on a good track, but more so. When I say best, not awards, nothing, I don't really care for them. More so around when my target market just think of financial advice, they think of it with a positive spin and with my name on it, right? And that's, you know what I mean? So it doesn't have to be everyone. I don't care if not everyone, but when someone thinks...
it's your space.
Yeah, that's right. And that my space is that military, sport, health and wellness. So... and that's not saying they've got to be in that career. It's people that identify that appreciate the military. I get a lot of them. People that love sports, I get a lot of them. And people that they might be an accountant, but they love health and fitness. Yeah, that's sort of my target market, and that's what all my posts, everything I do values around that. And so I want that industry in 5 years to really think, when they think of advice, think of me.
Cool. Do you play sport?
I play corporate sport at the moment. I love my golf. I try to love my golf.
Really? Your calloused hands tell me you're probably more of a CrossFit guy.
Blasphemy. No, I do love CrossFit. I'm not a CrossFitter, but I do appreciate it. Yeah. I train at the gym every day, but that's mostly just weights. I'm too lazy for CrossFit. That's just too hard, man.
I took up... I've tried a bunch of different things. I did CrossFit for a while. Patty and I did CrossFit for a while. But then... I went into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and I cracked a rib and got a hernia within a year, and I was like, yeah,
I'm done.
Well, I'm questioning whether or not to pick it up again. But mate, 35 years old, the body falls apart. How old are you now?
28. 27. I say that.
Mate,
yeah, but military experience blows you up. When I left, I thought, I'm fine. I don't know what everyone complains about. 2 years later, I'd fall apart. Both my knees are gone, both my ankles, my back's shot, lumbar and thoracic. Both shoulders are trashed, wrists are going. Like everything just trashes.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. 4
you need
years.
Carbs again, mate.
Yeah, I know.
You miss this, Clay, but he's off carbs.
Just for the month.
Nice.
Giving keto a crack.
Yeah.
Trying to find something to eat tonight's gonna be a nightmare.
I try. I'm trying to only eat one meal, like between the hours of 6 and 12. I've skipped breakfast for about 2 years. I'm totally sweet with it. Now I'm trying to skip breakfast and lunch, and I get so hungry.
See, I'm not an anti-carb man either. I love carbs. I think they're great for the body. You need that glycogen to train. But last 12 months, I've started feeling really nauseous all the time. And
that's a weird thing.
Yeah, heavily around, and I've noticed lately heavily around when I have carbs, and I refuse to go to the doctor and find out that I'm a celiac. So I just thought, I'll just cut carbs from it. I feel unbelievable. It's terrible. I feel great. I feel so good, and I haven't felt sick once. It's been 2 weeks. Hate it. I'm blowing up.
You're like a reluctant celiac.
Yeah, so I'll probably just get back on the fruit, and I'll just have fruit around my training times to get some glycogen back in there, but... Yeah, I'm blowing up. I love carbs. That snake was unbelievable before.
Yeah. We've got a bit of a selection here.
All right, well, it is Friday afternoon. You heading back into the office?
I am. We've got some work on Savo, so get back in there and Yeah, crack it out. I'll probably do a late one tonight because the fiance is coming in for a meal. So we're trying to find somewhere to eat tonight. So
What is she into?
whatever, she'll eat everything. I swear, man.
Actually, you'd probably be the tricky one tonight, right?
No, we're both because we're both doing it.
Okay.
And she's Italian, so carbs are her friend.
Ooh. Yeah.
So she's like, I don't feel sick. What do I have to stop?
Support me.
She's like, I feel sick when I don't have carbs. What is this? Yeah, fair enough. So we're going to try and find somewhere tonight, but I always do that every now and then because it allows me to get a good hour and a half, 2 hours extra work in on the Friday.
Yeah.
It's always good to close the week off with work, with some
man,
some wins. I guess.
Couple of hours of uninterrupted thought is a good thing.
Yeah, I started doing some Saturdays and stuff too, just for that reason.
Yeah.
Like just bang.
And we're talking about going to the pub, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Clearly, mate.
yeah, totally.
Work out the pub.
All right, well, with that lame ass joke, let's wrap it up, mate. Great to have you on here.
No worries. Thanks for having us.
Appreciate
guys.
it, man. Thanks.